There's nothing like a new Perrie album to add to my playlist that just makes me so happy. You guys, we are here. We have made it, hang on, start, to the second debut album from our Little Mix girlies, and I'm so incredibly ecstatic because Miss Perrie Edwards, thank you so much for gracing us with your presence. Okay, so if you didn't know, Perrie dropped her self-titled album this past Friday, and we are projected at this moment to make it to number 2 debut. So I hope my UK girls out there doing what they gotta do for my girl Perrie Edwards. Okay, she got a baby to feed. She's currently pregnant. Mother got a mother. Okay, but we are gonna discuss the album tracks today. And I will say at the time of this recording, she has dropped like her deluxe album, but it's on her website and I'm having trouble getting it. So I'm not going to be able to go through those particular songs, but we are going to go through the ones on the standard album and, kind of take it from there. Now, before we get into the individual track list, we do have to make the preference that there are some singles that she released that did not make the standard deluxe album. Now, like I said, she did release a deluxe album at this point, and those songs are included there, but they're not on the standard words. So those were Tears, Roller Coaster, and Me, Myself, and You. And while she said that it didn't fit sonically, I can kind of see where that goes, especially Tears. But I am very sad that Roller Coaster was initially on the album. I'm so happy that it now has a home. But Roller Coaster is one of the ones for me, okay? Just want to get that out there. Okay, so starting from the very, very top, we start the album off with Forget About Us. Going into If You Wanted to, We Would. Now, I will say it is genius to have those two songs back to back, but I won't say that I like it as an album opener. I do kind of like the way that it kind of goes her debut song, her debut album. I do love that. However, we've all heard Forget About Us. It's, like I said, her debut song. I just don't think it's an album opener. But, and I have opinions on the songs themselves later. We'll get into that after we do track by track. I just realized my... yeah, I just can't... Everyone knows I love that song, but I just don't know how I feel about it as being a track opener. But I do love it back to back with If You Wanted to, We Would, because it almost feels like I don't want you to forget about us. But... yeah, I'm not trying to get copyrighted. It just feels like it's two different parallels of a relationship, and I kind of like that aspect of it. But I think every time I thought about this, I was like, what would I have put instead? I think I would have put Sand Dancer, which is song number 3, because Sand Dancer is a song that essentially talks about how life was before she became Perrie from Little Mix. She was just Perrie, just the girl from down the street, the little cute blonde with, powerhouse vocals. It's essentially thinking back to how life was back then before she became this mega superstar. And I think that it would have been a better opener, especially because it gives you like childhood, it gives you like early 2000s movie vibes, like, looking out the window and just pretend like you're in a movie. That's how I picture that song when I listen to it. I think that Sand Dancer would have been a far better album opener. But, I don't know the story behind the track list here. Obviously, everybody has track lists for a reason. I do believe that she said that she didn't have an R&R for this particular album. So, a lot of things went into it that some pieces could have been relatively missing, but I think that Sand Dancer would have been better. I love that song. I think it's super cute. I think it's, like I said, it makes me feel like I'm in a movie. I'm the main character. I'm rolling down the streets on first day of high school, and I'm reminiscing about, like, back when life was younger. I think it's cute. I don't think that is super cheesy. I think some people have said it's kind of cheesy. I think that we have to remember the type of writer that Perrie is, and she kind of, when you listen to the album, you understand it like this way too. Like, she writes her songs almost like diary entries, and it's like a diary entry to her audience. I'm totally fine with that. So I don't have no issues with this song. I think I would give it like 7.5, 8. I think it's cute. I don't have any qualms other than the track order, if we're being honest. And I do think that I know I did a Forget About Us video. I think I did If You Wanted to, He Would video. Actually, maybe not. But I will link that first one somewhere in the comments or in the up here, so you guys can check that one out too. Rocket scientist, rocket scientist. She sounds absolutely fantastically amazing. Interesting enough, I have not watched that video yet. I will get to it eventually. I'm not sure if I want to do a reaction video. Maybe not because YouTube is mean to me. But in terms of that song, I absolutely adore it. It's catchy. It's heartbreaking. It's all the things I love in a song. If we're being honest, I think that it's it could have served as a single in place in some of those other songs that she did, but I understand kind of why, because we all recognize Perrie's journey, right? Like she did a lot of different sounds and a lot of different things that kind of brought her to this place that she's in now. So, just because of this particular like journey I guess she's on, I'm fine with it not being single like until it was. But I think it's probably sonically one of her best songs. Her voice sounds amazing. The storyline sounds amazing. Everything about it is phenomenal, and I think that it probably is, like I said, my favorite song on this album. That's not what is a single, so I guess I can't say that anymore. I don't think that like I don't know. I don't know if it's like for everyone because it's like I said, it's kind of catchy, so it kind of is an earworm. You think about it a lot, but I personally think this is one of her best works. Like, to be honest. Oh, rating, yeah, probably gonna get that a 10. Like I said, it's favorite song. Baby Steps is one of those songs that I absolutely adore the progression of it. It starts off super slow, super fast, super in your feelings, and it still kind of stays that way, but then it gets like bigger, like towards the end of the song. Her voice gets bigger, the production gets bigger, everything gets bigger about the song. And I think that like that's one of the key things about Perrie. She can do both, I think. I think like when it comes to this song in particular, it starts off one way and ends totally different. And I like that for her. I think that's the sound that she should maybe not stick with because I think it can get really old, but I think it suits her well. And like if that's one of the common themes in her song and her albums, then that's totally fine. And that's again something that she did really well in Little Mix. She would always be able to provide those big powerhouse vocals, and I just kind of love how this song kind of resonates like that. So this one uh, is also, like I said, well, not half said. This is also one of her most strongly written songs. I think this one is about a relationship that's come to an end and her kind of like coping with it. So obviously, she's probably written about a relationship that she was in and how that hurt. But I think it's one of the most strongly written songs that she's ever like produced. And I think that shows her versatility and her ability to, like I said, like I said, this album kind of feels like a whole bunch of diary entries that she put to music. And you could just kind of feel the emotion in that, and I think that's one of her strongest suits. That Perrie kind of writes really from her heart and from her brain, and you're able to kind of feel that in the emotion, especially with this song. The emotion in this song is totally crazy, and I can listen to it day after day after day after day. I'm gonna give it a 9. Crazy enough, the things that I liked about Baby Steps, I didn't like about Bonnie and Clyde. I kind of really didn't like when it progressed towards the end. And part of it was that it did not come into my ears correctly. Like I really felt like the music was higher than her. Like it was just my ears listening to that? But I feel like it was a little too busy. I do. Like it started off fine, but once you got to like the climax of the song, it was like, well, we're doing a lot here. We're doing a lot here. And I think I've seen a lot of like consensus when it comes to this song where it's kind of doing too much. It's a little busy. It's doing like it's not pleasing to the ear. But I like the concept of it. Loving someone so much that you will do anything for them, and we all know the story of Bonnie and Clyde. So, I like the concept of the album. I love the concept of the song, but the execution just didn't seem produced correctly to me. I think not having an A&R affected this song particularly. I wish it was someone who would have told her that like maybe a little less of this, maybe a little less of that, and someone who would have helped with the production of the song. Because I promise you, it can't just be me where I can just hear more of the music than her. It's really bothersome to my ear. I think this not every song, not every album, but a lot of albums are going to have that one or two songs that just aren't made for you, and it's totally fine. I mean, the point of an album, in my opinion, is supposed to be there's a song for everybody, and that doesn't mean that every song is for you. Bonnie and Clyde just so happens to not be one of those for me. I would probably rate like a 6.5 if we're being honest. Pushing Up Daisies is another one that I find cute. Um, but I saw a comment somewhere and someone was like, it sounded like it was written for like One Direction, and I cannot unhear it. I cannot unsee that in my brain now. But I think it's cute. It's another one of those that kind of older schooly vibey. It's a little dancey kind of. But I hear the song and I'm like, I wanna live young till I'm pushing up daisies. A little old school dance. I have no like qualms with the song. It's really simply about living life to to its fullest, until you're no longer a part of this world. And I don't know. Yeah, I've seen some people be like, I don't know what pushing up daisies mean. I'm like, first of all, that's wild that you don't. How young are you? But also, even more so, the analogy is just, something Little Mix would do. They're really good for having adult innuendos, like undertones, even though this isn't like truly adult. Like anybody could, where I'm going with this. Um, but it's just a cute little thing that Perry would do. Like Perry, only Perry would have a song talking about pushing up daisies, girl. And I think it's also an age appropriate song too. It's about having fun, living life as best as you can, and not letting anything stop you. You want to live young because at the end of the day, like even if you were like 80, 90, 100, you want to live it until you're pushing up daisies. I can't find fault in the song, especially because I just find it to be one of those songs that I would play, like especially like in the summertime when I'm outside as much as I am, having a good time and just fun, fun, fierce and free. I don't know what the phrasing is right now. I don't know, but like envisioning like the wind in my hair and just rolling the expressway. I want to live young, so I'm pushing up daisies. Like I just envision myself when I say these songs. When I hear these songs, I'm like, yeah, this is what I play back. It has playback value for sure. It's not one of her best songs on the album, I would say, but it's definitely a solid 7. Definitely. I feel like I'm one of the few people in the world that didn't actually know what cute aggression meant. I mean, yeah, I didn't know that actually meant like an actual. I think you're so cute. I gotta hear. That's quite a literal definition of the song, Miss Perry. But to each their own. Cute Aggression was released maybe a week before the album, maybe a little longer. I don't really know. I don't remember when Cute Aggression was released, but it was released before the album, and I didn't get a chance to do the video for it because a lot of things came up in life. So this is me talking about it, and honestly, I think it's super cute. Now the lyrics are a little scary. And you know what Perry's saying? What is, I can't remember what Perry's sign is, but I think she's a water sign, and that would make so much sense. Because as a fellow water sign, that's the same things I would say to my man too. So unfortunately, we're just that. You know what? Let me make this. Let me check really quickly while I'm here, because something she just gives water sign to me. Jesus Christ, I can't type sometimes. Yeah, I knew we were soul sisters. I knew it. I only remember their birthdays when it comes around. But she's a Cancer, and guess who's also a Cancer? I knew we were soul sisters. We're both nuts, but in a cute way. And that's what cute aggression is. You're nuts, but in a cute way. Because she said, if you was to go to hell, I can't live without your curly hair. I'm going to be there too. Girl, what? Only Perry. Only Perry. And because I specialize in that same type of insanity, I have to give this song a 9 because yes. Yes. She stuck her whole pinky toe in Miss You. Okay? That was a 10 out of 10. She ate that down. In fact, it's probably the best song on this album, and that's including my favorite songs. Now, it may not be my favorite song, but in terms of lyrically, vocally, poweredness of Miss Edwards, it's the best song on this album. And I'll tell you why. When you hear it, and if you're in a bad place, like I sometimes put myself in a bad place just to hear music. Don't question me. The tears, the emotion, you feel every inch of this song, and I just can't say thank you enough for giving it to us. I read somewhere this is one of the first songs she ever recorded, and I'm just like, girl, a lot of people never share those songs because it's one of the first ones they ever recorded, and they don't think it's good enough for everything else. And I'm just like, girl, this was a masterpiece. This is a ballad that I hope people actually listen to, and I hope to hear people on X Factor. Does that still come on? I don't know. On The Voice, on America's Got Talent, on I think Idol still come on. I want to hear people sing this song and give me something. Give me range. Give me emotion. Give me you a vocalist. Let's hear it. You know, this is one of those songs that for years to come, in my opinion, should be talked about. And I'm worried that they won't because it's Perrie and she's a UK singer, and you know people don't give them the respect they deserve. But gosh, god damn it, phenomenal, fantastic, 10 out of 10. If you haven't listened to any other song in this album, and you want to listen to a song, this is the one I recommend. Because if you wanted power and little mixedness, then this is the one, in my opinion. Some people, we'll get into that later, some people have commented it sounds a little too much like Little Mix. Well, I'm gonna give you this song here, and you tell me how that goes. You tell me if it's too much like Little Mix there. I think, especially with today's generation, Punchline is really needed, because it's essentially this song that's like, a life be throwing so much at me, and even though it hits me time and time again, I'm the joke. Actually, I said the punchline ready. It's a literal song, to be honest. A lot of songs are quite literal, but it's okay. It's fine. It's fine. Um, I don't have too much to say on Punchline. For a moment, I didn't know if I even liked the song, but I actually do like the song. I do think it's cute, and it's. I will say sometimes it gets a little sad, but like I said, it's one of those songs that it's describing how life can be life be life, and whether you like it or not, it's going to continue to be that way. So will you have the last laugh, or will you let it continue to life? Um, Considering that, you know, we learned a lot about Perrie, you know, post Little Mix, or even while she was in Little Mix, I can see how this song was very therapeutic for her. And I'm just happy that she's able to find a little bits of joy and make sure she's, you know, seeing the bright side of things. That's essentially what the song is trying to convey, like seeing the bright side of the bad things that can happen to you. I do think it's super funny because she was like, "Was I a bad person in a bad life? Because in another life, because what is this? What is this?" But you know, sometimes it be like that, and I think this is one of those songs you can listen to when it just be like that, and remember, like, honestly, no matter what, you can still be the punchline in this joke of a life, because you know, sometimes we're not gonna get into that now on this channel, but I'm such a sucker for songs that are dedicated to your children. So of course I love Put You First. It's her protector. It's her blue. I obviously can use Beyonce references because hello. It's such a beautiful song, and she has Axel at the end. Oh, I do think that could have been done a little bit better. Like, I think that he's a little too loud and she's a little too soft, but it's fine. It's fine. We're gonna pretend like that doesn't matter. It's just beautiful. I love. It's a song for parents, obviously, but even doesn't even have to be parents. Like, you know, it could be you to, if you're a dog mom or dog dad or something like that, or you know, your niece or nephews, you know, people that you want to put ahead in your life and want to make sure they're protected and loved, and that they know that you have their back. That's what the song is really about. Obviously, she dedicated to her son and maybe even her unborn baby, but I have no qualms with it. I'm a sucker for songs like that. It makes me so like giddy inside. I feel the butterflies, and it's like I can feel the love you have for your baby, and I just, Mama Perrie, girl, gotta get up, gotta give her. I think probably like a 9 because I don't love completely the arrangement of the song, but in terms of the lyrics and the meaning behind it, gotta give it like a 9. Okay, I have no idea if YouTube is gonna censor, you know, me cussing, so I'm just gonna say absolutely is it goes into my thought process of this is a whole diary entry just in song form, because this one basically details her engagement and her engagement to Alex, I think, and you know the story behind it. You can't go wrong. Like that's true love. She wrote about experience that really resonates with her, and they haven't got married yet, so she's still a fiance. But like that's the father of her children now. That's the father of her children. You know, that's the love of her life. You know, it doesn't surprise me whatsoever that it's a song dedicated to him. And but I do kind of love that. I don't know if it's exaggerated. Obviously, we'll never know. But it's a song that kind of details their engagement, and I think that's really cute that she was able to let us in on like her feelings and her thought process back then. As it was a couple years ago, so I'm wondering like when she wrote the song. But I like that insight that she gave us. And she was like, it was something like with the sand and everything, and she had got tongue tied and everything. I don't know. I might be butchering some of the lyrics, but you really kind of feel like you're in the moment with her when she's getting proposed to, and I think I love that about the song. I would give maybe the 8. Um, it's not like the most fantastic song, but it's super. It's such a it's a good song. It's a good song. So you can answer more. I don't care what nobody say. I love where you are. And maybe it's because I'm a cheesy girly at heart and I be missing my man and he be doing X, Y, and Z and I be like, I want to be where you at. I don't care what nobody say. I'm telling you, me and Perrie are soul sisters in that aspect. That's essentially what the song's about. She wants to be wherever Alex is, and she's kind of talking about their journey together when they first started dating. You know, when a pub when she met friends, and you know he was singing shout out or she was singing shout out. Somebody was singing shout out. You know, shout out to my ex. Anyway, um, I, it's essentially her feelings about the relationship and a storyline together, and I think it's such a cute song to follow it with Absofu. I do though wish that it had been cute to go in chronological order, so you had their actually. Correct me if I'm wrong. Were they engaged first before she had Axel, or was it the other way around? Because if so, fine, love the order. But if not, then it'd be cute to have it in that order. Either way, I'm gonna have to. Someone tell me that in the comments. I actually don't know. I don't know. I'm gonna look it up if y'all don't. Anyway, besides the point, I think it's a lot of things that she talked about in the song to kind of make the sorry it kind of makes the song just super cute, and it's very powerful. It's very um it's not it's a ballad, but it's a powerful ballad, and it's I'm a love a girl at heart. I love a good I want to be with you at. In fact, I can't wait to text my man later because I'm like I miss you. Oh my god, he's gonna watch this video and be like girl, and I'm be like anyway, I love that she's so in love with him, and she has made several steps, I think, this album to go from that heartbreak to things that have hurt her feelings and things that have made her a different person to this these few songs where it's like I love this man, I love this relationship that I'm in, and I couldn't ask anything else. And you gotta love a storyline. You gotta love um an Eternal Sunshine where you go from depressed to happy and loving where you're at, or eliminate, or you know one of those stories that give a cohesive story. So you gotta love her. I gave her a 9. Almost, as a matter of fact, I give her a 10. The infamous Same Place, Different Views is the next song. And I kind of hate its placement because we just had such a great song singing about my man, my man, my man. And now we're singing about this girl who, or guy, she doesn't confirm who the song's about, who basically hurt me as a friend. And, ugh, kind of wish it was higher in the album or something like that. It just, I hate how we went for such a happy time to just a really sad, depressing moment. But you know, to each their own when it comes to track lists. Like I call it the infamous Same Place, Different Views because allegedly she has not confirmed, but it's about Jesse. I was gonna say Jay. That's why I said that really weirdly. Regardless, I think that it was healthy and therapeutic for her. This song basically lays it all out there without sounding mean, without sounding vindictive, without hating a person. Um, but it is a relationship breakup, right? And even though we're all speculating it's about Jesse, we don't know that for sure. But if it is, we have to remember they were in a band for almost 10 years and they formed a sisterhood. So yes, this breakup was hurtful, and people use music as therapy time and time again. So I'm not really surprised that this song is speculated to be about her, nor is that one Jade song. We already had a Jade video, we talked about that song. Natural Disaster. And that one, if you want to go check it out. But I'm not surprised that those songs have been set to be about that, because that's painful. That's something they went through and they had to have therapy for. There was so much of a backlash and fan wars and everything. It was really, as a mixer who lived through that time, baby, I never want to go back. Um, so I like the song for what it is and what it stands for. And I do like at the end that it's essentially saying maybe one day things will change. Maybe some things would, one day things get back together. Um, it'll be better. And I do love that there is a door open for reconciliation. I hope that one day we can all move forward to from that situation. I hope that she's moved forward, she's healed, she's happy. But you know, it's one of those things that it is what it is. I was always taught, I've always lived by the saying that some people are in your life for a blessing or a lesson. And it kind of seems like at this moment that's more so of a lesson. Um, Gonna give her an 8. The next song is You Go Your Way, and we've already discussed that song in my channel. It is still one of my favorite Perrie songs because I feel like at that moment is when she found her sound. But you can go ahead and check out that video that will be linked in the little caption thing above, and you can see my thoughts on that particular song. I will say, however, I think it's an interesting song to go after Same Place, Different Views, because it's essentially you go your way and I'm gonna go mine. Okay. Again, a lot of her songs are quite literal, besides the point. So the next song is the final song on the standard one, and it's Goodbye My Friend, and it is her love letter to Jade and Leanne, and oh, my heart. Y'all can't tell 12-year-old me that this is not a beautiful moment, okay? We are essentially, she's essentially just like thanking them for the friendship that she's shown them, and, you know, also saying, I'm here for you and I'm proud of everything you've accomplished, and I'm just so thankful to have known you. I think that, like I said, it's just my little mixed heart, because sometimes people really try to pit those girls against each other, especially let's take it like even now, like there are two Little Mix albums essentially that out back to back, and now we're gonna try to compare who sold better, who charted higher, who did this, that, third, and it's so frustrating, because if you listen to the song, you know it's just like they love each other no matter what. They may not see each other, they're in different parts of the UK and they're doing different things in their solo journey, but they love each other, and I'm just happy that we got to hear that little dedication to them. I wouldn't say this is one of my favorite dedication songs they've done. Obviously, uh, there's a song on the first album that escapes me, I'm pretty sure. But obviously, Between Us is that girl. Okay, that song still, I dedicate that song to my friends. That's how much I love Between Us, and so I think this is a cute song, but it's not my favorite one. That's kind of like it. Um, but you know, if you're a mixer and you stand all three girls, then this is a song that really touches your heart. And I remember seeing a video of her performing it, and she dedicated to, you know, Jade and Lee, and it was very um not important, but I guess yeah, important that she mentioned them by name. She didn't say the she didn't say the girl, she didn't say the Little Mix girl, she said them by name. So it was very um closure bitten to me to say, yeah, no matter what y'all try to say, those people love each other. So I don't know. Probably give some. I wish it was like upbeater, just a little bit more upbeat. So with that, I'm gonna give it an 8 though. Overall, what do I think of the album? I think it's a very Perrie album. Like, it's not a good thing, not a bad. I mean, it's a good thing, but it's not a bad thing to be a very Perrie album. I've loved that she's tested different things and kind of see how those work, and the ones that went fit together in the album fit together, and the ones that didn't, she discarded. Now, like I said, justice for roller coaster, but they do eventually get home. I think that when it comes to this particular album, a lot of people have said like it's very Little Mixy, and who's to say that that's not who she wants to be? Just because you're making songs that sound like something Little Mix would do doesn't mean it's a bad thing. It just means that that's the sound she's most comfortable with, and that's the sound she wants to produce more with. I don't like when people's like, well, you know, they like really criticizing her for that. That's really frustrating to me as a Little Mix fan, because it's like, what are you listening to it for? You know, it almost feels like you listen to it to nitpick, or to compare it. So I've seen people compare it to like Jade's That's Soap His Baby. I've seen people compare it to Leanne's No Hard Feelings. It's not a comparable album. They all have distinct sounds. And even Leanne, she's not even really in the realm of, I mean, she still kind of is, but she's in the realm of My Love versus, OMG or Don't Say Love, type of thing. She's doing something totally different than Perrie. And I think it's really unfair to compare those three girls together and the music that they make. I think a lot of it, like I said, in fact, I 100% believe the fact that this is like diary entries that she makes a song. And what I also will say is that a lot of people have said that the lyrics aren't the best, and I can see that in some songs. I think that some of them are just extremely how do I put it, like Cute Aggression. It's exactly what the title is, or Punchline. It's exactly what the title is. And so I can see where people are getting that when it comes to not being a strong of a writer. There's no like interpretation. Is exactly what it says exactly what the song's about. But I also think that if you're able to do that in a good way, then there's no problem with it. If the song is still catchy, the song is still listenable. If it's still something that I would want to continue to listen to, like Rocket Scientist is stuck in my head still. I'm several songs later. I think that there's no problem with that. I truly feel like people just want to nitpick for no reason. And I really appreciate the mixers and are we Auroras? Is that Perrie's fan base? Aurora, someone help me. I need to find out on Twitter. I really appreciate the people who just listen to the music, and to support our girl. That's all I can really ask for. That's all I can really, hope for. And whatever happens on the charts, happens on the charts. Whatever, she makes with this, great. She's several months pregnant. Okay, that belly is bellying. And she just dropped the album. So I don't expect there to be like a tour anytime soon. But I just know that she's proud of what she put out and I like it. The only song I really don't care for is Bonnie and Clyde, but like it just was missing some things and it could have been tweaked a little bit better. Every album has something I usually don't like love. But that to say, my favorite songs on the album are definitely Miss You. You can't tell me I don't love that girl. I think I always will love You Go Your Way because that's what she found her sound. Um, let's see. Where You Are, I Love Her. So with a three, top five. Rocket Sciences. Ooh, I could forget about that queen right there. And then probably if you wanted to, you would. What if that's a gem? That's a hidden gem that people need to get up on. That's one of her best singles, if we're being honest. And if we don't include singles, so No You Go Your Way and No If You Wanted to, You Would. I'd probably put Stand Dancer and Baby Steps. Yeah, I'd probably do that. I said that to say that, yeah, overall rating, I think it's a solid debut album. I think in terms of concepts, things could have been maybe rearranged just a little bit, but it is what it is. I hope y'all enjoyed. I hope y'all enjoyed the album. Make sure y'all run it up. I have a Little Mix playlist, as I mentioned probably a couple videos before that. It's Little Mix outside of Little Mix. So I'll be running this album up along with the other Little Mix songs that I have, and I'll be wishing my girls well. This is not a Jade video, but I just want to say if you have tickets to Jade in Chicago, I envy you because it broke every inch of my heart not to get those tickets. Jesus. If she decides to do a bigger venue or another date, I will be the first one in line. That's all I want to say. I will see you guys in the next video, and I hope y'all have a great, amazing rest of your week. Bye-bye.